Yep.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Jeff Weisbein, founder and CEO of data analytics firm Kaya. Jeff, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for
Now,
having me.
we know today you're launching a new app called Shout. Can you tell us a little bit about it? You just gave me a cool little insight on why it's named Shout. Let's start there and then tell us about the app.
Sure. So the name is the app is Shout, as you mentioned, and the reason we came up with the name is because we're really inspired by the song by the Isley Brothers, Shout. We actually recorded a cover of the song for promotional purposes. Have some friends who are musicians, really talented, and it came out really great. It's on our website, weallshout.com. You can check out the promotional video for that. But the reason I ended up building this app is because I wanted a great way for people who consume content online to have an easy way to save, share, and curate content either for themselves or with their friends. And we've done a number of unique things, like build out a way to create collaborative lists, so you can add friends to a list and you can shout content together. A public list which other people can follow. So, Corey may have a large following on Twitter or what have you, and if you create a list, you can share that link to the list, and people can then follow it directly within our app and get all the updates for the things that you think are important and worth sharing. So it's a really great way to share between friends and also followers.
Nice. So two quick questions for you. Number one, did you sing on the cover of Shout?
I did not, because I cannot sing. Oh,
Okay.
if I could, it would. I mean, I would love to. But you don't want to hear me sing.
All right, fair enough. All right, next one. So you mentioned Twitter. Let's say we are using Corey's Twitter example and all of her followers as a great example. But let's just say, then it seems to me, based on that response, which was one of my questions, how easily does this work into the existing framework of social media that a lot of us may have? So for instance, if you do have, let's say, several thousand Instagram followers or several thousand Twitter followers, does this kind of work in already for the sharing to those groups that are already in existence?
Exactly. So the way we built it is very simple for people to sign up. It's built on top of Facebook. So that way what happens is you don't even have to create a new account anywhere. You log in with your existing Facebook profile, and essentially you have all your friends now imported, and you can easily add them to the list that if you want them to be part of them. You can easily find lists that your friends have created already. So we took that approach in thinking, instead of building something completely brand new, an entire new social network kind of platform or structure, we're built it on top of Facebook. So that way, which is obviously already almost 5 billion people are using Facebook around the world.
And give us some examples if you don't mind. Well, when we're saying lists, you're talking pieces of news, you're talking tech news, they could be could they be sports teams, personal passions of the user, whatever
exactly.
it is.
It could be whatever you want. Any type of content you consume, whether it be a video, whether it be like a YouTube video or a video on a website. It could be about Tim Tebow playing for the Mets recently. It could be a brunch review for a restaurant that you and your friends are thinking about going to. You all put it to these different lists, and you can create as many as you like. So you could have a brunch places we need to go. You could have haircut inspiration. You could have tech news. You could have sports news. You can have whatever you want. That cater it for however you want to view it, and as well as if you want to share it with other people so they can follow along.
Jeff, it's interesting that you guys built this on top of Facebook's platform. This is a company where recently CEO Mark Zuckerberg has finally said they are a media company, and he's really been tackling the issue of fake news. You're saying that you're curating this content. How can you decipher on Shout between what's real news and what's not?
So right now we're relying on our users to kind of make that determination. And the thing is, if you create a list and you're only sharing, let's say, quote unquote fake news that people, that's either blatantly not true or is misleading in some way, people won't follow that unless your friends happen to be into the same thing you are right now.
But it hasn't been, I'm sorry, just to push back, wasn't that part of the issue on Facebook?
That
people were into what their friends were into, which is why the fake
it's kind of like an echo chamber.
Spreading like a wildfire.
You're like, well, that sounds real. Of course that's real.
Right, so if you pass that along to your friends, they clearly think like you do, they're going to keep reading it.
Well, the nice thing about what we're doing, since we are built on top of Facebook, we're hoping that Facebook will extend some kind of API, since they've already built out a platform in place that kind of is starting to flag these types of fake news stories. So we can then implement that into our app. So that way, if someone were to shout something and it was a fake news story, we can then highlight that as well, kind of backing off of their API.
So is there a comparison to like a Spotify type where I can make a playlist from regardless of where I am, and remotely I could send it to friends, I could share it within my immediate networks? They could be college buddies, they could be I don't know, let's say like followers on my Twitter or something like that. But
exactly.
that unique kind of niche seems to be what it compares to.
Right, absolutely.
Best, yeah.
Absolutely. So, and we focus on content specifically. So maybe not so much music, unless I guess if you created like a YouTube playlist of all your favorite music videos and you wanted to shout that, that could be one way of kind of utilizing it from a music aspect. But we focus more on the content, created by individuals such as you guys at Cheddar, at the New York Times, at CNN, or whatever, TechCrunch, Mashable. Any type of content that you can consume online where we really believe people want an easier way to share it with their friends as opposed to having to set up an entirely new group, Facebook, maybe Messenger, or a group iMessage or something. This is a way that they get notified immediately when it gets shouted. And we also have a really cool feature that lets you send email digests to people who follow the list as well. So it's really beneficial on both fronts. So you get a quick notification, or you can get a digest at once every 24 hours. The creator of the list can send out a digest to the followers.
Jeff, how does Shout tie back to your analytics company, Kaya?
That's a great question. So one of the things that we're really interested in is helping content creators and digital publishers, media companies understand what their audience is truly engaged with. So we believe that Shout offers a unique kind of value add and also perspective in terms of when people are shouting content, that's obviously something that they really enjoyed or engaged with. And we can show these content creators that data, what articles were shouted, what their demographics were, and build out interest profiles across the board in terms of, your audience is really into, when you talk about world news, or when you talk about politics, or technology, based on the categories actually on the site itself. So that's how it all ties back together. The data, some of the data that we're gathering, and of course this is possible to opt out if you don't want your data, anonymously used in any way to help kind of better the internet. That's fine, but what we're doing is we're taking some of that data and then we're giving it back to these content creators who use our platform to help them figure out, all right, how can I best cater to my audience, my most engaged audience, to create real value for them.
So the threat of proliferation of fake news aside, talk to us a little bit about privacy and security concerns, because anytime that anyone gets into this orbit, I think nowadays especially, here we're doing all these stories now, the CIA is susceptible, then what's to say the average Joe on the street who may look at an app like Shout is also susceptible. So talk to us through some of the concerns on your end, some of the considerations maybe behind privacy and security for your users.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, we take security as seriously as anyone else in the business. We have a number of safeguards in place, and we use proven systems like Amazon, AWS, and Heroku, and things like that as our backend for this app. And then the data is all obviously all encrypted. In terms of privacy safeguards, we also consider, not every user of the app is going to want to share their data. So we have a very easy way. It's literally a toggle in our settings. So all you have to say is, I don't want to share my data. And you toggle it, and automatically we delete any existing data that may be in place, and we don't track anything new from you.
You don't track anything new. So then, what type of information or data are you bringing back to your consumers then? The people using your customers.
Right. So obviously, it would be ideal if not every single person did that. It would definitely as that adds a lot of value for our core product.
Right.
We believe there are a lot of people out there, such as myself and others, who privacy is important to us, but it also comes down to the fact of the matter is, at what point is some data okay to share? And I think moving forward, you'll see there are some advocates of privacy. While it is important, it is something we kind of have to reevaluate as a whole, as a community, and kind of figure out, all right, what kind of data will I be okay kind of sharing, and what kind of data is not okay to share. So clearly, your social security number is not okay. Meanwhile, some general demographics about you may be something, if it can benefit you also. Our whole thought process is, if we can get data back to the publishers to help them understand what their content what content's working for them, they can, in essence, create better content for the people who are already consuming it, and then obviously build on that, because there's obviously other people out there who fall in line with that kind of demographic.
Nice, that's some really cool stuff. All right, Jeff, well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's great to have you. All right, Jeff Weisbein, founder and CEO of Kaya. I got that right? Kaya.
Got it.
Pronunciation's key here, people. All right.